Fried Bread and Silent Dancing. Much Ado by Katrina Bennett.
And you can dance for inspiration. Come on, I'm waiting. A more astutely inclined, quicker on the uptake, perspicacious character with greater emotional intelligence and propensity for self-reflection than I would most likely ponder with greater frequency, how did I end up here? There are many times I probably should have, well before the end point, saving me a lot of pain, trouble, and undoubtedly a lot of money. Life would be easier, but presumably boring. Saturday could have been one of those days. The youngest of my descendants had an early-ish footy game at the Warrandyte Oval that I had foolishly promised to attend. As the alarm dragged me from a feverish dream, I opened one bleary eye to the cold, grey, windy, drizzly crapola of a day beckoning outside my window, which reflected exactly how I felt. Promises are meant to be broken, right? Easing sweaty, aching muscles and bones out of the house, into the car and across the bridge, I came to a grinding halt. Road closed. Of course, it was Warrandyte Festival time. Floats, monarchs and kids in colourful costumes every which way. How could I have forgotten? Very easily, it turns out. Long gone were the days of newsletters from childcare, primary school, every local sporting club about costumes for the parade, who they were going to represent, compulsory baking for the school stand, and not so subtle demands about putting your name down on the roster for the various other stalls. After 2 hours at the footy, freezing my proverbial posterior off in the unsatisfactory weather conditions, I performed on-the-fly mental arithmetic and ascertained that I had just enough time to buy and consume a non-dietary guideline recommended amount of CFA hot jam donuts before the same Offsprings basketball grand final. Side note, it turns out there's nothing like an oil crisis and petrol price hike for all you young adults to cash in their independence and redeploy mum's free taxi service. Back to the CFA hot jam donuts. Forgetting the rising cost of living, I demand a Senate inquiry into where the were the donuts. For the last 100 years, these piping hot, deep-fried, sugary elixirs of life have come out of a little caravan that has always been there in the same spot. I may not remember my own name half the time, lose my car keys, and my car for that matter, numerous times a week, and don't even get me started where any of my 14 pairs of reading glasses hide. But that CFA van, I would normally have been able to find that crawling across broken glass in shorts, blindfolded, wearing noise-cancelling headphones with blocked sinuses. Not this year. Poof! Disappeared like a politician's promise on the day after an election. Now I was tired, cold, wet, and bordering on hypoglycemia sitting through a basketball game where half the team had just played a whole game of footy and the other half were fouled off. You don't need to be an ESPN analyst to work out who walked away with the gold medal. My warm, dry, humble abode was beckoning me. Collapsing on the couch, I had already decided on what my peaceful meal for one was going to be and what TV series I'd be binge-watching, until one after another person in their early 20s kept flooding through my front door. "I thought you were going out," I inquired as the voices and music got louder, drowning out the live music from the festival across the river. "Yeah, just having some prees." Looking back longingly at the couch I had recently and resignedly vacated, full-length buffer jacket activated, I disappeared across the river to the relative tranquillity of the main stage and heaving crowd. 3 hours, 11 billion random conversations later, I finally bought some non-donut dinner. Stomach adequately satiated, feeling in all extremities intact, and my social battery fully charged, I genuinely intended on going home. I really did. Until the fluoro lights of the silent disco headphones drew me in, like a mozzie to a bug zapper. Or is it just what I looked like dancing in the moonlight? An insect getting electrocuted? The fever and achy muscles returned with a vengeance just as the surrounding voices were coaxing me onwards to the pub to round out the night. Fortunately, it seemed way, way, way too far to walk on my creaky bones. I'm not a complete lunatic. Get into the groove, you've got to prove you're not uncle to me. Get up on your feet, yeah, step to the beat, bring a donut to me.
This story was read by Rebecca Rose and Sandy Miller.